Okay, number 7, how are depth of field and aperture size related? What happens to the depth of field if I reduce the size of my aperture? What else happens if I reduce the size of my aperture? Okay, so let's think back to our pinhole camera model. In this model, our aperture size is like infinitely small and everything is in focus, right? Like all of the images that you rendered in the first part of the ray tracing project, everything was in focus, and this was using the pinhole camera model. So you have like an infinitely small aperture. And if everything's in focus, that means your depth of field is like as wide as possible. It's like literally everything. So if you increase your aperture, that means that your depth of field is going to decrease. So if you have a larger aperture, then some parts of your image are going to start being out of focus, which is going to decrease your depth of field. So what else happens if I reduce the size of my aperture? Well, if you have a smaller aperture size, that's also going to darken your image because it's letting in less light because it's a smaller hole for all of the light to get through to your sensor. So if you decrease your aperture, it's going to make your image darker.